Hey, you peeps. I am at the Lewes Public Library at the 16th Annual Lewes Writers Conference. I haven't taken many pictures. I took a couple so far. I need to take more. But, I don't normally like to take pictures without asking first. So I am on my way to a round table for short stories because, as you know, for some reason, I cannot get short stories out there. That's why I said I'm going to go ahead and just publish them myself and leave it at that. Anyway, I will see you all when I get home tonight. And then I'll try to stay offline as much as I can, but it's on to a new project. And I'll talk to you later. Mwah. Love you. Ladies, get those mammograms.
And I do spoken word, prose, and poetry. I'd like poetry to be my primary, and I write. I think I write out of angst. Like I don't write for the love of it or the art, or I think it's sort of therapeutic, and I feel like it's been an appropriate way for me to express myself. I came into this very late. I didn't start writing till my late 40s, and it's just been a good format for me. So I'm glad to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How do you do, everyone? My name is Rick Hammond, and I am not a fiction writer and never will be. However, I do edit my wife's fiction. For my own writing, I'm a science writer, and I'm writing a very technical 5-part book on what I call ancestral health.
Ancestral health.
Wow.
That's
really cool.
That's good.
Wow, Rick,
So
yeah.
it covers food, but it also covers light and magnetism and other things that we do wrong in our modern life based on our evolutionary history.
Wow.
So that's my whole process, is to point out what's wrong with the medical system and why are we having epidemics of diabetes, obesity, and so on and so forth. And I think I've pinned, a lot of that on what we do to ourselves, and we don't even know we're doing it.
And why do you write?
To teach people how to do better for their own health. Because if you're not getting that from the medical system, because, for example, my thesis was all about type 2 diabetes. And I say that's not a disease, but modern medicine, allopaths, treat it as a disease that can be managed with drugs.
Wow.
And I say no, it has to be managed with diet and,
Wow. Okay.
and environment.
You can go on and on.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Okay, all right. Susan.
Sue.
Hi, I'm
Okay.
Sue. I write as Stella Marie Alden. I write romances, shades of off-white, no shades of gray. I write because I'm a writer. I think, therefore I write. I got into it late in life as well, in my 40s, and I started with some contests with Romances Writers of America. I started winning some. I said, whoa, maybe I actually write. Maybe I am a writer. And from there, I got a contract with a small publishing firm, and after that, I decided to write on my own because I'm a control freak, and now I self-publish. I have 50 books on Amazon, and I get one out about every 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
Wow. What is your secret?
Oh my
Outlining.
God.
Great
Outlining. Do
Are
not.
you coming to my outlining workshop
No.
at 2 o'clock?
No.
Oh. Yes, Rebecca.
Oh, there was
Rob
one.
has not checked in.
Marge Sorrell, and I write sometimes under the name of Marge Murray. I've written a couple biographies. I'm a medical writer by profession, but I also write fiction, and I write because I have to write.
Okay. Fantastic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kaz.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
My primary is memoir and also fiction. I write to instruct, to inform, as well as to learn myself.
Fantastic.
And I'm interested, I didn't know about your outlining work workshop, so.
Me neither.
Come on.
Oh, okay, good.
I've got plenty of photocopies.
Excellent.
Steve.
My name's Steve Conley, and I write fiction. Generally, most of the time it's beach read romance. Delve into some other stuff from time to time, And I write because I listen a lot, and people say really interesting things. That's where I
And
This is called The Gift of the Fear. Tiona lifted the round, moist fruit to her lips and bit into the soft pink skin. Blood red juice ran through her fingers and down her arms as she ate. Moments later, her stomach clenched as bile, first oversweet then burning, filled her throat. She stayed conscious only long enough to feel her legs buckle beneath her. Tiona opened her eyes and a moan rose from deep in her throat. It was one of frustration. She had failed again. But she would not lose faith when she so needed to hold on to it. Tiona heard the footsteps long before her door opened. She was of the Afir, a race of beings, senses enhanced and home to a sword's point. By the weight and measure of the tread, she recognized it as her royal father, His Majesty King Alden Uras. The door came open without so much as a knock, and Tiona sat up against the pile of silken pillows on her bed. There was no reason to feign sleep this time. Her father would not fall for such a ruse again, and as usual he stank of old drink. He spoke without preamble. Why, Tiona? Tiona did not respond. He wouldn't understand. She kept her gaze on him until he turned away. He never looked in her eyes for long. They were unlike anyone else in the province, and most people whispered how unnatural they were. Two dark pupils within circles of burnished gold, resembling newly minted coins. Her late mother had the same eyes, and Tiona thought they were beautiful. This is the third time, Alden muttered, his back to her. Why are you so unhappy? You have everything. I'm not forcing you to marry someone you don't love. I'm allowing you to follow your mother's ways. Why do this? Why attempt to end your life? No, Tiona thought, he wouldn't understand. There's more to life than power and wealth, if only you would see. Then show me, Alden said. Tell me what you're trying to achieve. What is beyond the sight of human kings? Tiona replied. You didn't appreciate Mother, did you? Madness. Alden turned to face her, much to Tiona's surprise. Utter madness. What does your mother have to do with this insanity? How can you not see? Tiona shook her head. You sired me, yet you were ignorant. Tiona? Alden's harsh voice caught her unawares. He'd show no true temper with her. I must do what I can to preserve the dignity of my kingdom. You will remain in your room for 3 days under close observation. I have already sent for Anstar Parlan. We'll see if he can free you from this madness. That is the only word I have for it. The thought of a man of the cloth coming here, of touching her and ruining everything. No, your majesty, not the Anstar. A shiver raced across her skin. For the first time, desperation made a tightness in her chest. Alden turned away as he made to leave. Tiona called, Father, what do you fear most of all? She had not called him father since after her mother died. What nonsense is this? He didn't face her, not wanting to meet her gaze again. You fear growing old, Tiona's voice held a taunt. You fear a thief called time. What is the only way to best a thief? Learn their secrets. I've given my command. Alden's voice was bitter. I will not lose the respect of my people because of you. When the door closed and Tiona heard it lock, she threw the blankets aside with a curse and swung her legs around to the side of her bed. Respect. How much respect did he believe a drunkard garnered? Steadying herself on the bedpost, she tried to stand and sway for a moment, but her unnatural healing ability was already working to repair the damage by the poison. Were it not for her human blood, her recuperation would have taken only a few moments. There is a door beside her bed, which would only open by her hands thanks to a placed warding. Tiona went to it now and opened it. It looked to be nothing more than a walk-in closet, but Tiona had converted it to suit her needs. Inside was a simple straw mat and 2 identical jugs, placed to the left and to the right. There was a small end table where Tiona had placed 2 fat tapers with a rose scent. They both lit with no incendiary when Tiona entered. She knelt on the mat and drank from the jug to her left, which contained a bitter potion. When she lay down and closed her eyes, she became still, heard her breathing slow. If anyone were to enter the closet, if that was possible, it would look as though she had achieved her earlier plan. Tiona concentrated as her body relaxed and she felt a stirring deep within her soul. The Sensation began as a spark that spread through her to engulf her in flame. Colors danced inside her eyelids. She laughed. Then the colors faded and grew cool. Got it.
You got 30 seconds left. So we'll just add that to her time if you want.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
and so, group question. Would,
I loved, this isn't my genre, so, but I loved, you hooked me in with this line about her stomach clenched, bile, first over sweet, then burning. If I'm not taken in the first paragraph, I don't read the story, and that was a really powerful. And the other thing that I loved, which I thought was really telling, was he had not called her father since her mother died.
Yeah.
I felt like you gave us a telescope right there into relationship. So even as this isn't like my favorite genre, I'm into now the relationship in the story. So I wanted to compliment you on those two.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was really intrigued by the story, Wendy. What I found most fascinating were two things immediately. Father, what do you fear most of all?
Mhm.
I thought to
Yeah.
ask your father that.
Yes.
That could go lots of different places, deep and wide. And then the other was that her blood has human blood in it. And that made me very curious and excited to explore who she is, where she comes from, all of the above.
Thank you.
Yeah.
yes, Marge.
So thank you for reading, Wendy. It's really a nice tone to your voice. I like that. I think there's such good description, especially bodily description, and I really sort of was intrigued by that, like what's going on with her body. And then going into that little alcove where she went, you described that quite well. And I also thought that the dialogue moved the story along for me. There was description and there was dialogue, and I was feeling the momentum of the story. And of course, I have a couple questions like, what did happen to her mother, and what actually is the real reason she seems not to be comfortable with her father, and what was the relationship between the father and the mother? Is that relevant or not?
Yeah. It is. It's
All right.
yeah.
It's coming.
That's right, that's
All right.
right. Resist the temptation.
Yes, I also circled, I really enjoyed, I would definitely go home and read this book. It's definitely up my alley. So, I love how, you're able to throw the descriptions in between the dialogue, because that is a difficult thing to do, to keep the story going, to make me want to return the next page, and also put in the descriptions, but it's not like, Tolkien, where like, we're talking about pages and pages of food. It's like, enough already with the food and the elves, okay, what happens next? Yeah, so that didn't happen, and I love the burnished gold resembling newly minted coins. I mean, descriptions like that are really pull you in.
Thank you very much.
Yes, definitely well done. And I want to read the novel, or the rest of the short story, yes.
I may have to expand it.
You're right, because there's a people in there that need telling.
Yeah, that's why I took the short story. If you don't mind my commenting, that's why I took this class here, because I've tried to get short stories published for, I don't know, a month of Sundays. And they all say like, oh, it's really good, but.
Oh.
And there's always a but at the end. Or they say, but it's not what we're looking for, or but it's not quite, this. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Her outlining process, she helped
Yeah.
enormously.
So let's go to, what did you want to know more about? First of all, did anybody else want to comment on what resonated?
We have about 1 minute left.
Oh, okay, so let's talk about what we wanted to know more of. Steve, say whatever it is that you want to say.
I'll do both. One of the things I loved that nobody mentioned was when you talked about the thief of time, and the only best way, I'm not saying what you did, the only way to best a thief. I absolutely found that fascinating and loved it. Loved it.
I know, Steve. Learn its secret. Wow.
Yep, learn their secrets. And so if I shift gears and what do I want more? I want that sentence, that quote, up high. And there are a few pieces like that in here for me. But little details I love too. And that was they both lit, the candles lit when Tina entered the room. And that's a great detail.
Oh,
Thank you.
So more of that stuff.
so I want to wrap with a couple of comments of my own. First of all, Wendy, I heard the word love. I love a lot in this room. And that is something really important. So people that said that they love certain things about the work, keep it going and just strengthen the work with more of that. You know, one of the things that we collectively learned with this is the importance and power of first lines. You know, what do you have? 20 seconds to catch somebody's attention? How important that first line is, or that first paragraph. It was the best of times, the worst of times. You know, to be or not to be, that's the question. You know, these first lines. Another thing that the room said was they were curious about things. That is awesome. That means they want more. You know, they want more. And something else, you know, this combination of dialogue and description. Wendy did it well, okay? And you guys commented on that. And I want you guys to think about that in terms of your own work. That delicate balance that keeps the story moving. You know, because even if the best description, after a while you get tired of it. And you want action. Some comments that I had, things that I loved, honed to a sword's point. Beautiful. Unnatural eyes, beautiful. This is the third time Alden muttered his back to her. That was interesting because my expectation was that it would be the king or her father, but it was Alden, and I found that to be very interesting. I said, learn the secrets of the thief. And I want to tell you something that resonated with me was futility. The inner conflict of this woman trying to kill herself and being unable to because her body heals itself. What
an idea.
What a struggle. Brilliant. The future. It is.
I'm sorry.
The future. No. So you know, and again, I'm saying this for the whole group. This idea of setting up what the struggle is at the very beginning, and I just want to use Steve's words. You know, where does that? What place of prominence does that have in the work overall? You know, the futility, and the other thing that I said, among other things, is this world that you created. If the one thing that I would say to you that I wanted to know more of is I want to know this world. You know, this idea that you walk in and the taper candles light up. I'm digging that. Okay, that is a Alexa home if there never was one. And I want to know about this world. So,
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so we're going with Kaz now. And great job with the feedback. You guys are brilliant. You know, great feedback. Thank you, Kaz is passed. I'm Jamie J, and I am so deeply grateful and honored that each one of you have chosen to spend some time with me. Thank you, and the time with each other. I hope that we have a terrific time together and come away inspired. My plan, because I thought we were going to be at a conference table, is to have you guys do a little bit of work on your pieces. So what I'm hoping is that you guys have a piece in mind that you can kind of work on during this session. And if you don't, that's okay, because I'll need your feedback to help others. Is that cool? All right, thank you so much. So today's workshop is called Outlining is the Key to Knowing Where You Are Going and How to Get There. Thank you so much. And I have 2 handouts for the group. So if I may, Shelly, can I hold? I can always count on you, my dear. So there's 10 there, and let me give you the rest too, because I've got more. Ma'am?
Are they all the same?
Yeah, they're all the same. So, as you guys heard in the other room, I was a 2022 established fellow in playwriting. And I also write poetry, creative nonfiction, tell stories, etc. And I have shamelessly the theater that have been incredibly powerful tools for revising my work. And I want to share them with you today. How many people have any experience with theater behind the stage, not just sitting in an audience watching? Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. And how many people have seen a play? Okay. So, theater is probably the most collaborative.
Now closed.
You know, stop doing that to me. We're gonna be closed now, so you are good. I'm good. The man from where? You're here till Sunday. Theater is probably the most collaborative industry in the world. You cannot do a play that has not passed through many hands and received feedback from many, many people through long processes of development. The only solitary part of the play is when the playwright writes a rehearsal-ready draft. And what a rehearsal-ready draft means is when you're ready to share it with other theater professionals and get feedback. A theater director focuses on 5 elements of a production. You'll all be familiar with these if you've seen a play or stage. That would be set. I'll save staging for last. Set, costumes, light, sound, and staging. And what I mean by staging is how a person moves in and out through the story, or how the characters move. That's staging. So once a script is ready to go up, and that's what we call it, is going to go up in a theater, it is put into the hands of the director to interpret the work, the written word, for the stage and for actors. So they think about what is the character wearing. So now think about this in terms of what we have to think about as we write. What is a character wearing? What their age is, ethnicity, job. I mean, what do we have to know about a character? Stravinsky said that whenever he wrote a play, he would get on a train and take a ride with the characters and kind of interview them and talk to them to get to know them, know what they look like, what their experiences were. So costumes, the set, where is it occurring? Say, we have to know that, where what we're writing is occurring, what time of year it is, what's the season, and when you think about the year, what are things that you have to think about in terms of a given year? What are identifiers to let us know what year it is? Anybody? Exactly, cars and music, clothing, furniture. I mean, you can walk into a house and know it was designed in the 70s. How can you know? Give me one thing.
The carpeting.
Shag carpeting. How about panel walls? You never put a panel.
Orange
Avocado, yeah, avocado appliances.
Puke green color.
Brady Bunch countertop.
Exactly. There you go. So, these are very specific things in 5 areas that a director has to understand before he can put up a play. And I say to you as writers, we've got to understand those things too. Because if you don't, the things that are most important that need to be conveyed in your story could be misinterpreted if we're not specific. So I'm not saying every little thing has to be specific, but the important things do. So we talk about set, where the play takes place, what year, what time of the month. You know, what's the weather like outside? Is it cold? Are people wearing coats or not? All of these things are specific. What did I say? Lighting. What's the difference between how you feel on a dark, rainy day and on a beautiful, sunny day? These things are important. They inspire characters to do certain things. I said sound. What is it that we're hearing? You know, I just read something about how footsteps above me kicked off this chain of events that happened. How important is sound? You know, so I want you to think about when you're writing and outlining, what are the important things? Everything might not be, but what's important that we have to know? And write in those details. So, as I said, a director has to know all this in order to manifest your work on stage. And we have to know that in order to communicate our ideas to our readers, to our editors, to anyone that's going to help us to make the work fulfill its greatest potential. And notice I didn't say help the writer fulfill their greatest potential. I said the work, because it's about the work. You've got to step back the ego and do what you have to do to let the work fulfill its greatest potential. So, a French scene has been critical in my thinking about how to outline the work. Let me step back for a moment. I would like to know, I want you to improve my thinking about this. I've come across two types of writers. I've come across writers that tend to know the beginning and end of a story before they start writing, or the beginning and ending of a poem, or a film, or a play, before they start. And the writing process is about learning the characters. And learning, right? Okay, so somebody's here with me. And then there's the writer that starts by knowing the characters. And the writing process is about discovering what they get themselves into, right? Have I missed anybody? Is there anybody else in the room that writes a different way from that?
A combination of the two.
Okay, all right, and that's absolutely fair, and I'm not a bit surprised, Sue, that you would say that. If you like romantic work, right, check her out. She's awesome. So, with the French scene, outlining is critical whenever you're doing your work. And I don't care whether it's a poem, a play, fiction, creative, nonfiction. It helps the writer know where they're going. This, I don't know about anybody else, but I write, I regurgitate. I know that A to B, I know where we're going. My discovery is learning the characters and figuring out how they go from A to B. And what I found is without an outline, I would find myself at a point where I would just write round and round in circles. Didn't know where I was going, and it was the most frustrating process until until a theater director said, I want you to work with this person as kind of a coach. And what that did for my writing, I hope this workshop does for yours. They introduced me to the French scene. So in a nutshell, in your sheet here, if you don't have it, let me know. What is a French scene? If you don't have it?
Here, I'll do it.
Okay, great.
There's an extra one.
Now, before
There is an extra one.